Yeah, Wahgwaan FPL. I said it there now. The wildcard team is inside, man. Think it's the perfect time to use your wildcard. My team been struggling, so definitely I'm gonna push the button. I don't want to go into week 4. I'm already behind, so I want to start getting up there in points. And I have some players right there. Those are the top class players, man. That's been doing it for their team. And I'm gonna show you some more top class players and what you could use to build a top class side after pushing your wildcard. I think the perfect way to get your team is to stack. The perfect way is to stack. Pick a team that you want 3 players from that's gonna perform very well. Then pick another team that you want 2 players from. And pick another team that you want 2 players from. Then you know your money is going to start trickling down. So then that's when you're going to start making a decision. So the perfect way is to stack. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about inside. So welcome, wildcard season. The wildcard is inside. Wahgwaan FPL. Yes, right there. So let's start it off right here with some defenders. Lightning strike mean that these players been performing in the past 3 games. Top class defenders that we need in our team. What we need, like 5 defenders, here's 4. You know what I mean? We have Arsenal, we have West Ham, we have Chelsea, we have Crystal Palace. So we know what we need right here. Here's 4 defenders that we could squeeze into our side. You know what I mean? The price is right here. We know what they're going to offer. No Arsenal, you might get a goal and assist out of California. You know what I mean? The West Ham, you're going to get 2 assists, so you know what they got to offer. I put the data right there. Just use the data. You need 5 defenders. Here's 4. You could just pick up another defender from a team that you don't need to just put on the bench because he might not play. You could either start 3 at the back or 4 at the back. Well, here are the defenders that we need for a squad. What we're looking at right here now is some top class midfielders that we could put on our team when we push that wild card button. Like I said, I'm deciding to push my wild card button this week because my team been struggling. Started off good with 66 points, so I collected the data to see what we need to do. Oh, we need to get a wild card team, trust me. I mean, and like I said, the perfect way is to stack. As you can see, you got 2 Everton player right there. You got 2 Liverpool player right there. You got Arsenal to get on there. You got Chelsea. You know what I mean? So you got players, midfield players that's performing. You could see what you're going to get from some of these players. From Guapo, you're going to get a goal and assist. From Grealish, you're going to get 2 assists. So you know what you want to, it's about what you want to look for. You want to look at the prices. You're going to see the prices right there. Guapo is 7.7. We all know Salah is a big man. You know what I mean? You want to the golden assist, but he's 14.5. So it's decide how you want to use your money. I show you the stats. I show you what they cost. I show you the midfield. It's your time to make your decision. Here are some more top class midfielders that you could put on your team. You got St. Crystal Palace again. That's under that got players again. You got Simeon that's been doing this thing. Top class midfielder. You got Pacatois. We all thought West Ham started off bad, but somehow you have a top class midfielder from these sides. So maybe they're not a bad team to pick from. So like I say, man, you're going to see what you're going to get from these players. You're going to get goals and you're going to get an assist. So they're all a decision that you need to make. I'm giving you the data from the past 3 games. You know what I mean? The midfielders are there. So go ahead. I said it's the perfect time to use your wild card. It's my perfect time to use my wild card. I'm going to do it. Next is some top class forward that's been performing for their team. You got Manchester City there. You got Spurs there. You got another Chelsea player. So like I said, it's the best way to do it is to stack. To stack. You got more Liverpool player right there. So think about what you want to do. You got some cheap strikers there. You know what I mean? 5.5 striker that you could use once you spend your big money. You might need to your money start trickling down. You start looking to it to say, okay, I need some small players, some small money players. You know what I mean? So I could start make my team right. And here's the wild card for the forward that you could use. I'm going to show you on the next video of what a wildcard team could look like after with all these players right here. Yes, so after collecting all the data and looking at the players that's been performing, the top players that be performing, the defenders, the midfielders, the striker, the goalkeeper, here's the team that we was able to build out of it. The team rating is 78. It's not about getting a 99 team rating or in the 90s. You know what I mean? You could see that you could have a C team rating team and still perform. It's about stacking. I think that's the way to go about it. It's about stacking from a team. Find a team that you want 3 players from. Once you do that, you're going to be like, okay, then you're going to find another team. You probably can only pick 2 players from them. You're going to find another team, you only can pick another 2 players. Then you're going to start trickling down, okay, I need 1 player, 1 player, 1 player. But right there, when you find that 3 and that 2, that's 5 players already. that's going to be on your squad, or all the 11 that you need to start. And as you can see, after you pick those players, I still got 0.3 million in the bank. And I mean, I got players like Munoz, I got California on there, I got the Chelsea defender, I got the West Ham defender on there, and then I just buy a defender for 4.0 who I need just a 4.0. You could play a 4 in the back or a 3 in the back. You might not need to play a 5 in the back. So that defender that you end up buying, you could just leave him on the bench. Next, you see the midfielder now. We got Simeon, who we know been performing. Guapo, Grealish, who you need to perform. Enzo, Anthony. See that? You was able to pick 5 top-class midfielder. So you could think about it, okay, I only want to play 3 midfielder, 3 defender in the back, and then you could end up playing your 5 midfielder, because you know that's where you get most of the points from. Then you could decide between your strikers. This is where I could say you don't got to pick 3 top-class strikers. And I mean, I could have switched Ekitike out for another top class like Isidore, who been performing for his team. I could have did that, but I didn't need to do it. I picked Allen, Pedro, Ekitike, and I still have 0.3 in the bank. So like I said, the perfect ways to do is to stack. I end up having 3 players from Chelsea. I mean, Pedro, Enzo, and the defender. That was 3 players from Chelsea. I end up getting 2 players from Arsenal, Raya and California. So you know the best ways to do it is to stack to get your team up there. And that's what a wildcard team could look like. Still got money in the bank. It's not about getting a 90 or 100. It's about getting a team that you're proud of, you like, getting a team with fear inside. You need to build some fear in people. Now let's look at some defenders who's been doing it for their team, who's going to get up there to those top class defenders. They only been performing once in their game, in like 1 game out of the week, but they're still getting there. And I mean, you have another Arsenal player, you have 2 Manchester United players. Look like a bad team, but no, they look like they're finding their feet. They're finding their team, they're finding their 11. So they look like they're getting back into the game. So here's some defenders you could use to pick a squad, to make a good squad. And like I said, the best way is to start stacking from a side, man. I think that's what it is. And here's some wildcard defenders that you could use for your team. Some money there, you could see their price, you could see what they offer there. So everything is there. Right now, we have some more defenders that we're going to show you guys that you could use to put in your team. Like I said, this is the data that we've been collecting over the past 3 games. Here's the data. Look at it. Think about what you want to, or you could make a good side. Like I said, we learned data over the past 3 games of what a side could look like. Your team been struggling. You want to use the wildcard button. Now is the best time to use it. I mean, I hope you didn't use it before you watch this video, because I'm giving you the data. But even if you use it, and you use it in week 3, even though you use it in week 3, you could scrap that side you picked, use this data right here to get your best squad. Here's some players, some midfield players from team that's been doing their thing that's going to get up there. You got Chelsea players on there. You have Fulham players on there. You got another midfielder again from Everton. So the data is right there of what we've been collecting over the last 3 weeks. So your money, use it the right way. Here you go to pick your right wildcard team. You don't want to get behind. Don't get behind. I'm already behind in my team. Right now I feel like, yes, this is the perfect time for me to use it. So I'm going to use it. So let's use the data that we have to make the best team possible. More midfielder to add to the list. More midfielder. We have a lot of midfielders that we're going to go through. See what we're going to be getting. There's a lot of Burnley defenders right there. Some people might not believe in Burnley, but Burnley's doing their thing right now. We have a lot of their midfielders. So let's look at the data and use the data to make your wildcard team. I try to present it to you as easy as possible. Easy as possible. More midfielders. Try to make them organized. You got all Liverpool midfielder right there. And you have some Nottingham Forest midfielder right there that's been performing for their team. You see what they have to offer with the goal from Sablaya, even though he's playing defender, but he still was able to perform and score a goal. It's a midfield player, 7.8 with a price. So you have a lot of midfielder right there you could look to. We have more midfielder to look to after this. Like I said, the data is there, so let's use it. Well, you know, more midfielder to look at again. Manchester United midfielders to look at it. You know what I mean? You have Sunderland midfielders to look at. So here you go. The price is right there, what they can offer, and everything that you could look at to see, yo, do I want to put these players in my team? But they're there. They've been performing. So let's look at it. Use the data. Wildcard time. Let's do it. So here's some more midfielders that you could look at right here. We got Manchester City midfielders. We got Spurs midfielders that's been doing their thing. You know what I mean? So it doesn't look like we need to look at Manchester City and say, oh, we need a defender. No. We need to be looking at Manchester City and say, oh, we need some midfielder and we need a striker because we know the big men up top been performing. So, and we have midfielder right there. So, no, that's when we need to start taking the data and thinking about, like, okay, where do we need Manchester City as midfielders that we could get from. Spurs as midfielders that we could pick from. It looked like Arsenal, Crystal Palace, those teams have the defenders that we can pick from. So we need to start looking at the data. Here's some midfielder players you could think about to put on your team. Push that wild card button, man. We ain't getting behind no more, man. We're moving forward. Progression. And there it goes again. Some more midfielders and what they have to offer with their price range. Like I said, it's the wild card, man. I think it's the perfect time to use your wild card. Look at the midfielder. Take some time. Pause the video. Look at which midfielder you want in your squad. Look, you see their price right there. You see what they have to offer. You see how much points they've been getting over the game. So let's think about our squad. The perfect time to use your wild card. So after we looked at the defenders, the midfielders, now it's time for us to look at the strikers that's been performing. We have strikers that's just been scoring goals, you know what I mean? Some of them ain't been getting no assists, they just been scoring goals, and that's what the striker is there for, to score goals. So the data is right there. You could start picking them up. Like I said, West Ham started off bad. We all thought there was a bad, but now they got 2 strikers on the list. So let's start thinking about it. Like I said, I think it's the perfect time to use your wild card. So let's do it. And here's some more strikers, some one-off strikers that's been doing it in one game. And I mean, they haven't earned those 2 lightning strike yet to say they're top performers. But they're going to get to it. So it's time for us to start thinking about our squad. We need striker. Here's some strikers. 9. But look at that. You have a striker that's 5.5 and 5.0. You know what I mean? So it's not about, you could spend all your money and look through it, how to spend all your money. Use it wisely. Yeah, last but not least, maybe I should have put this up top because you need your goalkeepers. And I mean, you got 2 5.5 goalkeeper, you have some 4.5 goalkeeper, and you have 5.0. So if you don't have the money for like a 5.5 goalkeeper, you could get a 4.5 goalkeeper who's been performing. So here you go. The data is there, man, over the past 3 weeks. Next, I'm going to show you guys some teams that you could have. I'm going to show you what the ratings of the teams that's been winning for the past 3 weeks. I'm gonna show you the ratings on them, and you're gonna see that, yo, I don't need to get no 90, no 60. You could have a 50 and still win. You know what I mean? So let's use the money wisely. Wildcard season, we're here. I'm gonna show you my wildcard team. My wildcard team that I use once I push my wildcard. But like I said, the data is there, so let's use it. Let's get into it. Yeah. So this is what I mean when I said that you don't need to have a 80% rating team or a 90% rating team. You need to make your best team. And you could see what I mean by when I say to stack players. As you could see, this is the team that won the team for week 1 fantasy team. And I mean the team that performed well from all the players then when they picked them out. You had Lewis, Reinders, and Allen. When you stack players, you get 3 players right there from one team. Then you get 2 players from another team, Raya and Calafiori. You know what I mean? They have the goalkeeper and the defender. See that they was also able to do that with Spurs. You get the striker and a midfielder, Kudus. And that team right there, you see I was able to do it and still had money in the bank. So it's a way to use it, you know what I mean? Way to use it to see that the best way to do it to stack player. I'm going to show you another side, the week 2 side, what they use for the fantasy that win the league. And you would see, oh, that one is like 55 out of 100. So here's the other FPL team for week 2, the week 2 fantasy team that win. Like I said, that team is only 55 out of 100. That was the rating on the AI system. So it's not about getting the best ratings in the AI system. It's not about getting no 90 or 100. It's about stacking your side. So you'll see when I was able to stack that side again now. You have 2 players from Arsenal, Timber and Calafiori. You know what I mean? You had another 2 player from Burnley, Anthony and Coolin. You just got to pick the team. Pick the team that you believe in. And for Arsenal, it wasn't even 2, it was 3 because you end up having Gyökeres. That make it 3. You know what I mean? You got Brentford, you got a defender and a midfielder. So, and then you start picking your 1 players then. You know what I mean? You end up getting a 1 player striker, but for Grealish you have 2. For Grealish you have 2 because you have Pickford for Everton. So, it's all about picking your side. It's not about getting no 100% ratings or anything like that. It's about balancing, I mean, picking the side that's right, stacking the team properly. Stacking a team is the best way to go. And like I said, man, it's Wahgwaan FPL, man. That's a Fantasy Week 2, man. I'm going to show you what I did for my wild card. I know I set it up. Yeah, so my week 3, man. My week 3 side, I had 27 points. Another pitiful. End up dropping another 3, and I mean going down to 6. So it's like I said, it's time for you to start picking your side. I pushed my wild card. I'm gonna show you my wild card team. I set my team up. So let's go over my week 3 side. We're gonna go over this very fast because it's pitiful to me. Not even going. Just gonna run through this. You know what I mean? So there you go. That was my side that I was looking at. Push my wild card. Let's go over my other side and go over my side. Like I said, I got 27 points on this. There's no players in that anybody fear. No players. So it's time for me to make a scary side. Make a side that I think is going to win. Make a side that I say, yo, it's going to stack, because there's no stack player right there. There's only like 2 stack players. So a time for me I use the data. I'm here to use it, and I'm ready. So here's my side once I push my wild card button. I'm going to show it to you. Yeah. So I just sat there and push the button. Wild card push. Ready. Put some fear in the side, you know what I mean? Show you what I mean by stacking, you know. Yo, I'm here, man. I'm ready, man. Week 3, you know what I mean? The week is going on. The week is stopped right here, so it's no time for me to start using all the data that I had. Been stacking up, you know. Everything. I'm here. So let's go over my team, man. I still kept the goalkeeper from Spurs. I end up using all my money. There's no money left in the bank. Still kept the goalkeeper from Spurs. He's going against Bournemouth. I picked up a defender from Chelsea. Going against Bedford. I end up going into Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace look like they got some strong defender. You know what I mean? They're going against Sunderland. Still stick with it. See, like I can say, I got Spurs. I still stick with Pero. He been looking good at Spurs, so I still stick with him. No, I got 2 Spurs player right there. That's what I mean by stacking. Pick a team that you believe in. And I mean, I think he's the best one that's playing for Manchester United right now. Cunha is hurt. Ferdinand is playing a little shaky, so I think he's the best one. He's been getting the best position, taking the shots, so he's the best one for Manchester United that I picked up. Grealish, like I said, I'm picking players that's getting 90 minutes. I'm looking at the data. Grealish been getting 90 minutes, been performing. 2 assists, and then 2 assists again. So it's back-to-back. So he got 4 assists in 2 games. Reinders, it was either he going to be him or Escobar, because I like Escobar, you know what I mean? But Reinders has been getting 90 minutes. Escobar been putting like 40 minutes, 70 minutes, and I don't want that. I want players that have been getting 90 minutes on the field. Then I got Salah. It was either, like I said, Salah is a 14.5. It was either going between him and Ireland, but I don't know which defender I could put on my squad from Liverpool, because you know Guapo, and you got Isaac there, you got Ekatike, so there's gonna be some fight in spot. You know nobody's gonna take Salah's spot, so I'm gonna choose Salah. No, I got the big man Gyökeres. This is what I thought about stacking right there. And I mean, I got Gyökeres right now. I got more Arsenal players on my bench, but I got Gyökeres to start in this game against Nottingham Forest. I mean, I got Pedro. Pedro again is another one I picked up. You know, players like Delap is hurt. What his name is? The midfielder Palmer is hurt. So you got 2 players that out right there. So you know, so Pedro is going to start getting his 90 minutes that he need for the squad. So I put him in the team, and he's been performing well. Last, this is supposed to be Otamade, the new striker that Newcastle signed. You know, I mean, I know they got Wissa, but I don't have enough money to get Wissa. I probably still could get Wissa, but I'm gonna get Otamade. And if I get Wissa, he's definitely. I don't know who's going to start, but I like Otamade better, so I choose him in the side right there. Raya, you see like I got another Arsenal. You see that they stacking up right there. I got Sars. I know I got 3 Tottenham players. Sar, but like I said, they never know all those players on the bench could get substituted. I like how my formation is looking for my squad, my starting 11. I mean, I got Larax right there from Crystal Palace again. He been performing well. And last but not least, my boy Timber, you know what I mean? It's just because they're going against Nottingham Forest, that's why they're on the bench. I think Nottingham Forest could score against them. That's the reason why I put. But it's a very hard week. Who you want to choose? Very hard week, man, because Bournemouth's been performing well. So it's going to be a toss-up of who I want my captain to be, because, you know, I might even just go ahead and put, see, there's a goalkeeper issue going on at both squad, Manchester United and Manchester City. So let's see what happens. Wahgwaan FPL, yes, sir, there. You don't know. Yes, so y'all know, so that's Wahgwaan FPL. Yes, sir, there. I gave you guys all the data y'all need, man, to set up your wildcard team. Push that button. You got everything that you need. You have the midfielder, you have striker, you have defender, you have goalkeeper, you have top class players in there. You know what I mean? You have players only perform one time in the over the week 3. So I even show you what a team could look like. What a team could look like. You don't need to get 80 out of 100 or 90 out of 100. You could win a team week with a 55 out of 100 team. And I mean, the data is there. And everything's there for what you need to push that wild card button. I push mine. I push it. It's time to start putting some fear, man. Let's play this game hard, tough, fair. Come on, man. I'm here to help y'all. This is what I did. It's Wahgwaan FPL, fantasy, you know what I mean? Push that button, wild card. Do what you need to do. We're back in another week. So here, let's go. Wahgwaan FPL. Yes, right there.